As much as you love a little bit of ice cream on a sunny day, beginners really like to play against the bots, which actually makes sense if you think about it. Imagine you had to participate in a boxing contest, so before getting to fight other people for the first time, it really makes sense to train using a punching bag. So in today's video, we're going to be having a little bit of fun against the beginner bots. So first things first, you want to be logged in into your just.com account. This is what it looks like in the browser. If you're using the app, you just need to click on play and then hit computer. Similarly here, I'm gonna click onto this button and now we have a multitude of bots to choose from. For this video, we're gonna get started with the easy bots and finish with the strongest. And what I want you guys to really learn from this video is how to choose the right middle game plan, especially after their very weird openings. So now very quickly before we get started, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, which is me. I'm making this video possible, so in case you want to show your support, my London system course is now on a sale for the next 3 more days. Back into the video. Yes, I'm gonna play as white. We're gonna do 1-1 and let's see. Gonna be trying another London. Okay, this is actually pretty interesting because beginners that are just getting started with the London are kind of like confused a little bit when their opponent plays nonsense like a5. So just gonna play it very simple. Gonna get the pawn pyramid, bishop d3, knight d2, just kind of like the standard setup. But because he has played this kind of premature f5 move, what this thing actually does in the position, it's pretty much just handing over the e5 square, meaning like no pawns can ever target that, and that would be just a very nice square for the knight. And it's also setting up a little trap, which he, quite nicely defended. Because if let's say your opponent just ignores with a move like bishop b7 allowing queen h5, here, then after g6 I have idea to play knight takes. And if pawn takes, then the rook remains undefended. That is just a very basic tactic that you can use. Knight to f6, I'm gonna play normal, like knight d2, bishop d3, castle c3. Probably this is how I think every beginner would treat this position. Okay, h6. Why is h6 a bad move? Well, it looks like he's threatening to target my bishop. But on the other hand, I think it's giving me a great opportunity to play knight g6, kind of infiltrating into his camp. How dare you threaten me? Dude, you were the one that played h6. You invited it. Okay, I'm just gonna go h4. Now, the thing with h4, whenever you have such a strong knight, it is kind of very difficult for your opponent if you just support it. So, okay, still, e5 square. I got a nice juicy knight on g6. That won't stop me from bringing another knight into the e5 square. I mean, as long as there's a hole, there's a goal. You know the saying. Gonna bring the knight. And, well, that's a free queen. We take free queens. Looks like this isn't meant to be a friendly game after all. Oh, I'm glad he realized it now. 95, okay. I mean, he doesn't want to destroy my knight. I can keep checking, but usually g4 is kind of like a nice way to break the f5 structure in general. Even though, at this point, when you're up a free queen, then you don't really have to think based on, like, let's say, concepts or stuff like this. But it's kind of nice to get used to like a disciplined mindset, so to speak. Bishop there. Well, you already know that trading is nice when you are winning. I mean, I got a hanging bishop. I'm just gonna bring the queen, saying, okay, take my bishop. I have a little bit of contact with your king. Bishop takes on h6. Little temporary sacrifice. I'm just ready to take his pieces. Bishop g6 should be precise way to end the game. He has only one move. Queen takes with check. And then that is a mate. Alright, pretty nice. Let's go to next spot. And I want to play him I want to play him with black. So let's do it. We're playing against Juan. Mr. Juan is rated 400, meaning that he's already kind of, getting a little bit higher rated, maybe a little bit more fattening. And he plays c3. Now, my recommendation whenever they are playing this kind of weird stuff is to just play like a reverse London, okay? So you just saw the London system was white. Now we're gonna do the same strategy, but with colors reversed. It's gonna be a little bit weird at first, but I promise it's very easy. So to clarify, on e4, Caro-Kann, against anything else, reverse London. So yeah, just gonna get bishop out, e6, play pawns like this. Get bishop out, pawn pyramid, just simple stuff. Yes, I can try to sort of take advantage of him not playing standard moves and doing nonsense like this, but I think ideally as a beginner, you just wanna make sure you get your pieces out. You can reach this position literally every single time, and you take it from there. You get a game. You don't need to, let's say, be so aggressive. Try to just win within the first few moves, or such things. So he plays rook to h4. I played h6 to give myself a luft and to stop his pawns. Typical move for the London system as well. I think we start this just having a little bit of pressure on f4, which he just blundered. Thank you, Juan. Appreciate that. That's a free pawn. Queen to z2. I can start being a little bit more aggressive, perhaps. Target and play knight e3. Castling, there was nothing wrong with that, obviously. But when an opponent gives us such a juicy opportunity, he walked right into it. Pause the video, try to find the move. Because, well, we had a little bit of a slower start, but once you get to finish development, it's very easy to, let's say, get free chances by your opponents, especially if you're a beginner. You don't really need to do much, just have a solid position, and they will usually do most of the work for you. You know how it is. A lot of the times I think we may have a tendency for overthinking. How am I gonna win? How am I gonna beat my opponent? No. Some of the times it's enough to just let your opponent beat himself. It's he takes a bamboo stick and starts beating himself in the head. That's how it feels a lot of the times when you're playing in this rating range. So, targeting the rook, threatening mate in 1. I did not see this coming. Dude, it's move 20, you have no pieces left. King alone. You shouldn't be talking. Okay, that's a mate. So, glad we actually got to show more openings already, but let's keep going. What is next bot? Okay, this is Filip. So we need to have white pieces. We're going to be playing the London. So Filip is rated 400. Seems to be from what I believe to be Poland. Okay. I'm just going to do the pawn pyramid, just very, simple London system kind of stuff. You can do this pretty much all the time and you're going to get a good game. I usually start with the knight and then with the bishop, but it shouldn't make a huge difference. And okay, rook a7. Playing pretty obscure moves. Now that you sort of finished development, you can start thinking. And I think we already get to introduce one of the main positional ideas. The main kind of middle game plans that you need to know as a London system guy. Because, well, you develop, then next idea is to play knight e5. This is such an annoying move for your opponents to deal with. And here it also came with a tempo. If they are taking, the main point is to take back with a pawn, hitting this knight, and once the knight will leave, usually their king is going to be a little bit weaker after they castle. The knight on f6 is usually a key defender, even though it doesn't seem very clear why now. That is, in most of the positions. Imagine we already have that bishop staring down his king in case he goes short castle. But he plays the move queen d6, which is defending the knight, but has a major drawback that it's placing the queen in front of the bishop, It's you're walking down the street and you see a gang of people holding baseball bats. Well, they might be friendly guys, but this queen is walking right into it. Pause the video, try to find the winning move, because I believe there are alternatives, but simple move like knight f7, discovery, hitting both. Okay, so opponent says, you can't make an omelette without breaking some eggs. I feel like that may be a quote from a different website, but we're not gonna get into that now. I'm just gonna play e4, okay? We are up a queen. So what I really love about playing this opening is that, you just get developed, and a lot of the times, as you saw, opponent literally walked into a tactic. So you just don't have to do much work. Just get developed, have a safe position, and then when you get a winning position, try to prioritize exchanges. Okay, now I could go for like a couple of moves. Knight f3, knight g5 seems very tempting, because if h6 gets played stopping me, that would have weakened this square. So perhaps that would have been a juicy idea. But now he just allows it, so I think he should be pretty much very near checkmate. I mean, queen e6 is not working yet because of the bishop. So, yeah, we need to find something to deal with that. I don't quite see a move yet, to be honest. So I'm just gonna take this pawn. Play g6. We can keep exchanging and then play like, I guess, queen f3. Target the knight. Keep an eye on the pawn. I got like 96 ideas. Okay, he gives me free knight. Gonna be taking this, and we finally get a mate. So still pretty easy. Let's go next bot. Next bot is Oliver. Gonna play him with black pieces. And sticking with the Caro. I wonder if any of these guys would play some kind of Fury. No. He is preparing the Scholar's Mate, but as I already mentioned, none of this early trickery works against the Caro, which already saved you getting mated like a bunch of times. So yeah, just gonna get to develop with tempo. And this is an important rule, okay? Because you cannot play bishop f5, and you cannot go bishop g4 pinning anything. And a lot of people, I feel like they would be making the mistake of going e6, restricting their own bishop. So instead, I recommend you play the bishop out anyways, in case, like, let's say he would start attacking it. That doesn't matter. He played bishop g6, and he just kind of overextends using the pawns. And on b3, well, now I'm happy. I can play e6 and finish development easily without having a bad bishop. So when he plays f3, usually the reaction is this, but because I have e6, I can just go back and gain a tempo. Targeting the queen, goes back. I can keep developing. For this structure specifically, I think bishop d6 is kind of nicer, having a bit of pressure on the diagonal. And the standard way to really play this is have pieces like this, and then you have options. You can go short castle, that's safest. You can also go long castle, like queen also belongs onto this square. And which one do you guys want to go for? Okay. Castling long is usually what I play because it's more fun, but I think the safer way to go is usually short. So I'm gonna stick with that, and now e5 is how you break. Very important. Like, this is where a lot of the beginners would have been stuck. Like having a position like this, and then just because it's not obvious what to do with the pieces, beginners would start, like randomly moving pieces on the board. But in order to have any good piece moves, you need to open up the position a little bit. So you open up by trading pawns. Now getting to activate the rook with check. King on f2. I mean, I could have taken the pawn for like a few moves, but I'm gonna do now just because it's threatening to mate. And it's actually pretty ridiculous that we do get a bishop mate. So actually, this Caro Khan had turned out to be quite instructive. Please really remember this pawn structure. Okay, like when, let's say, you just look at the pawns. That's kind of the nice thing about Caro. It's just a few pawn structures that, if you remember them, it's very easy to play. Like bishop goes to g4, f5 if you can, and then you develop exactly like we did. So this is pretty much perfect development, and he just gets to showcase very bad opening play by our opponent. And then the key break is e5, then rook e8, and this is just pretty much already a disaster for our opponent. So we can go for the next spot. We are playing against Milica, and we need to play with white. So I'm gonna go for the London system, and let's see, maybe this is gonna become more of a theoretical spot, because so far we kind of faced trashy openings. But okay, looks promising. Opponent still rated 550, and actually seems to have very normal opening. Bishop d6 so far, playing like a grandmaster. I usually like to allow this structure, by the way. This is a thing that I really need to mention, because if you're a beginner that's just getting into the London system, you probably already have this kind of like pre-move with bishop g3. Oh, let me go there, hope he takes, and I get open file for the rook. Which works. Clearly, it's proven by the stats that most of the time they will take. But I want to ask you, what if they don't take? What is your bishop going to do on g3? That is not very clear. So instead, the best move at the top level, according to the computer as well, is to play knight bd2. Okay, this is what I recommend in my chessable course on the London system as well, which is, by the way, on a sale, I think, for a few days. Definitely check that one out. And you can just play it very simple like this. Play c3, bishop d3, and I would be very happy if opponent takes and gives us this pawn structure. Because what most people actually don't get at first is that they think, okay, the pawn on f4 is going to be weak. But just imagine opponent starts attacking it somehow, you can always defend it with g3. And it is just rock solid. And it just gives you very good control over the center. Against knight g4, I will advise you to do this always. Very important move that gets overlooked by newer players. Whenever your opponent plays knight g4 or something weird, like he doesn't have any pieces in your camp but randomly goes for aggressive move like this, you should immediately get rid of it. It's like, you're having dinner with your family and then you realize a stranger is just looking at you from the window. Are you going to be like, oh, let me bring another bottle of wine? No, you need to just deal with a stranger. You cannot allow a knight to just be there aimlessly. So he goes back. Now, I can play knight e5, go for more aggressive. Or I could, go castle. That's not one move. Typical mistake for this structure, what a lot of low-rated players would do, play queen c2. Which is, in my opinion, a wrong square for the queen. The queen is much better placed on e2 in general, because it's giving you opportunity to play for e4 in the future. Obviously not immediately, because it hangs the bishop. And the queen can kind of, keep an eye on both sides of the board. But we're going to keep it very casual. Just castle. Knight to g8. Gonna play queen e2, like I promised. And notice how we finish development. Rooks are connected. All the pieces are developed. Pawns like this. Very successful opening. And now that everything is developed, we can consider, moving another piece for the second time. So we got options. If you've been paying attention to the video, you know already that knight e5 is one of the main London plans, and we're going to stick with it. Additionally, I think it's very interesting to also trade and then play e4. Because opponent's king is in the middle, and one fundamental idea that is going to help you take advantage of that is you need to open up the position. You cannot play e4 immediately because you lose the bishop. Therefore, that's why it's logical to trade and then play e4. But I'm going to stick with the simple move that you can kind of pre-move, play it on autopilot, get a knight on e5. Now, still e4. It's a move, just trying to open up the position, and I think it's very logical because I just explained it. And on f6, it is your turn to pause the video and try to find why this has been a bad move. Okay, it's like kind of getting rid of our knight and saying if you go back, then this may be an issue. Our bishop is hanging. But on the other hand, you need to kind of look at your opponent's move and try to see why that was a mistake. Because now g6 square is available. And we can literally just infiltrate And what do you think we should play? There is seemingly a free rook there, but then he takes the bishop. So I think it might be even cleaner if you take first. And yeah, okay, I was about to say, on something like this, I was thinking we can actually get to keep our bishop. Maybe I was wrong. No, I'm never wrong. I'm just gonna go here. Targeting the rook because queen takes on h5 is actually a pretty cunning pin. And then we have the bishop that opens up. But okay, this game has actually been very interesting, I have to say. Like so far, everything has been kind of like one-sided, but this really got to show some important middle game ideas, which I am quite happy of. Gonna take, just open up the position. Opponent should run away that way. This is gonna speed up the checkmating process, I think. I can go here, king d5, queen f7. Oh, goes on to the other side. Mate in one, way to play. You can try to find it because you can simply go queen to g4. So we get a checkmate against Milica. Let's go for the next bot. Alright guys, are you still here with me? Can you survive? Is this super boring already? This is Santiago, 850. I'm gonna play him with black. I believe there should be like maybe two more. I'm gonna stick with a caro. And opponent is gonna be playing the fantasy. So if you're playing against the beginner bots, the only kind of theory that you need to know is the fantasy. So important to remember this e5. It is a pawn sacrifice, but it's very good. Hopefully he takes. Which he definitely did not. Like on takes, I play bishop c5 and then queen b6 as a sacrifice. I have like a separate video too, if you wanna like check this line in greater depth. But yeah, for now, I'm gonna stick with the main idea that people miss. Because when they play e5, they think it's mainly about this gambit, but they forget e5 opens up queen's path, which you can use in a lot of the times by taking. And after pawn takes, this is the killer move. Okay, I already explained this a little bit earlier in the video, because now you just get to have the fork. Okay, even though this is a bot, I mean, I still do believe that this theme is very common for kind of like, yeah, below 1200. Easily, you can get this in blitz games. I'm just gonna trade all the pieces now, trade queens, gonna try to trade the knight, so just gonna be kind of like a clinical endgame squeeze. By the way I'm gonna be doing this from now on, it's gonna be very instructive. So this is how you should treat every single one of your games when you're having extra material. Okay, just trade when you can, take what's free. I'm gonna trade, you know, the trade is not running anywhere, that's why I'm delaying it. You may even win it for free sometimes. And okay, I'm just gonna finish development and I'm gonna try to exchange the rest of his pieces. So we're gonna trade rooks. And then I'm gonna try to get rid of his bishop. Oh, never mind. Rook for free. We'll take that. Take his bishop. I'm trying to take his bishop. I may checkmate him accidentally. Okay, here we go. That's almost mate. I'm saying almost because it's not a mate because the knight is no longer defended. I'm gonna go like 94. I mean, we're really starting to mate and not take his bishop at this point, just because how this game played out so far. But I'm gonna do c5, still giving him opportunity to hand us the bishop, which he refuses. He really refuses to give us the bishop. Okay, just gonna go for yeah, for the checkmate. So pretty simple stuff. Just managed to beat him with the little opening trap. Against Aron, we're going to be playing with the white pieces and we're going to be playing the London system yet again. Not Fischer's favorite move, but a great move. Okay, he's referring to d4. Bobby Fischer's favorite is e4. That's a funny little quote right there. He really seems to be like a Fischer guy. I get it. He has the Icelandic flag. He's like really a Fischer fanboy. He's quoting Fischer on many occasions. I'm just gonna play the London. Actually, believe it or not, I'm not sure what Bobby Fischer used to play against the London. I just guessed the London wasn't very popular at the time Bobby Fischer was playing with black. But that's actually an interesting study case to make. You guys should let me know if you have any data about that. I'm just gonna get my normal London system set up, pieces out, pawn pyramid, just to recap this. And once you finish development, you can move the knight again. And it's usually knight e5 if that square is available. And after g6, remember f6 is instantly losing because of knight infiltrating into g6. And onto this pawn move. This actually opens up the door for some sacrifices. But we're not going to be doing any of that. We're just going to be keeping it very casual. Castling, and because opponent's king is in the middle, we're going to try to open up the position with e4, okay? e4 is the move that perhaps you were missing in these structures. Do you see what I'm planning? Yes, that's a one mover. I guess we can survive. Queen back, rook e1. You can pretty much see that we're using same theme with like both colors. This pretty much is mimicking the other game that we had. So I'm gonna take, trying to open up the file. He takes the better way, keeping the file closed, and the problem with that is it's simply hanging a pawn. Bishop takes on b5. And, okay, bishop d7. We are gonna be taking, and I will let you to pause the video and find the winning move now. Because there's a little bit of a coordination problem that you can spot with bishop e5. Additionally, if you just play queen a4 and then try to get a knight to e5, that should also be completely winning. But I'm just gonna go for the sneaky little idea. He's asking me, you've been playing well. Have you studied any Fischer games? Well, as a matter of fact, I did at some point. But yeah, actually, I was a little bit of a fanboy. I used to play a lot of his openings, but then I realized what's best, and I switched to the London system. So I think Bobby Fischer wouldn't be very happy about that choice in particular. We are now slowly starting to break through my opponent's defenses. Gonna bring the queen. Gonna check. Gonna try to I have queen b8, but this is important concept that you guys want to get used to, because it's very easy to kind of fall into this rabbit hole of playing queen b8, king e7, rook e1, king f7, try to calculate how these positions may play out. But no, you just need to start sealing the mating net. I'm gonna do rook e1 first, so that his king is not escaping. I don't need to calculate any nonsense, and notice that the game instantly ends. So, pretty happy about this win against Aron with the white pieces, and she is rated 850, but the repertoire seems to be even worse. She seems to be pretty talkative. Let's enjoy a game and just have fun. It's never just fun. There are lots of cool openings that start with d4. Using your own ideas is the best way to play chess. Sure, I'm gonna use my own idea and put the bishop on f4. We'll do that. I'm gonna get, my little London system set up here, getting the pieces out, and then playing c3, bishop d3. You guys probably know this by heart. At the end of this video, if you never play the opening, you will just be almost like a London system master. So, got the pieces, knight e5, if it's playable, it's a good move. And now I'm gonna get castled. I don't need to react in any way, shape, or form to whatever my opponent is doing on that side. And okay, leading development, king in the center. You probably already know what white should be doing in this position. Try to open up the position with a move like e4. Okay, rook onto the open file. Then gonna be taking on d5, opening up the position. I feel like I have just created a blueprint on how to beat these bots. Just because every game that we are playing seems kind of repetitive at this point. I'm gonna do queen, defending my bishop and targeting f7. So Zara under real pressure. I'm gonna take the free rook and barely getting mated. I don't see the checkmate quite yet, but I definitely feel it's very near. I'm gonna do knight e4. Target the queen and the bishop. And yeah, when that happens, I think we have simple move to take. And still, it's surprisingly funny that I don't see a forced checkmate. Okay, I guess I'll just attack the knight. The knight is literally the piece that's keeping my opponent's position together, for now, at least. But once we bring the rook into the game, should be over. I'm gonna sacrifice, like bishop can take the rook, but it's more important that we get to hunt the enemy king. So this is gonna be kinda the decisive outcome. So we get a check, and then we have nice little bishop mate. Okay. Just to give you a very brief summary before I let you go and try out these things yourself. With the white pieces, if you don't have a repertoire, you can start playing the London system. So pretty much, yeah, against kind of like no matter what they do, get the bishop to f4, pawn pyramid. So you get the bishop out and then close the pawn chain. Develop knights like this, bishop to d3, and with the black pieces, against e4, you do Harokan, and against d4, you try to play the same strategy as white, but with colors reversed. So you do d5, knight f6, get the bishop to f5, and then put the pawns like we would normally do. And the really biggest recurring theme that we have seen so far is that our opponents just kind of tend to neglect development, and you can usually punish that by, first of all, getting castled, and then opening up the position by usually pushing one of your pawns in the center. So, hope you guys enjoy this. And if you want to learn more about any of these openings, please feel free to check out the playlist that will appear on the screen. Take care.